Thank you, everyone. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share our project with Korean people. Great country. Thank you very much. So we are a blockchain project, and we're from China, and we try to solve one very specific but very big area, which is credit. You already see Ripple network. Yeah, it's a very big project already. And we're trying to solve not the foreign exchange, but we try to solve the borrowing and the lending problem. Okay. Oops. So today I'm going to dive two questions here. So first is, so what is distributed banking and distorted credit, or distributed credit? And how will DCC revolutionize the banking industry? So a little bit about myself. I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I was a PhD student at London School of Economics, studying in microfinancing and game theory. Before that, Oxford, Yale, so a lot of studies here. And as a reading the books by maybe brainwashed, I tried to be an entrepreneur, so I quit the school. I dropped my PhD study at the third year and came back to my home country, which is China, to be an entrepreneur. And the area I was working on is fintech, very popular topic today. So at that time, which is 2015, fintech is like between the early stage to the middle stage. There were a lot of like big companies like Alipay. You guys must have heard about that. And there were also very small companies at that time, but today they're all growing to very big companies and listed in NYSE and NASDAQ. I can give you some names like Qdian, like QD.com, Rong360,拍拍贷, 乐信, all in Chinese, but very big companies. Profits like 1 billion Chinese yuan annually. So I got lucky because the infrastructure of internet is very strong in China, and we have a lot of people. So the fintech industry grew up very fast. From 2015 to 2017, it grows from almost 0 to 13 trillion Chinese yuan, so big amount. And also it produced a lot of good companies. So I invested a couple of companies, like 2 of them, they went to NASDAQ. And my own company is providing the SaaS service for financial institutions and those online micro-lending companies. And my company was acquired by Shanghai Stock A listed company at 2017. So, but that was a little bit about me before I jumped into blockchain. So I had some experiences in the micro-lending, something like small cash loan, car loan, unsecured loan. Because when I was dealing with those financial institutions like big banks, or I call the centralized financial institutions, I found there were a lot of problems. So actually this year, if you guys remember, 2018 is very special. It is the 10th anniversary of the 2008 financial crisis. So now we're standing here. Why don't we just look back? Look back what had happened and think about what are we going to do now? A lot of professionals, scholars, and the top talents in the world, they keep talking about the financial crisis, found reasons like financial attrition, asymmetric information, adverse selection, problems like that. And I am in the industry, and I know what is going on. See, for example, like those listed companies, say from East Asia or in China, they have problems like, for example, super high annual interest rate charging to the customers. It could up to, how much is it? 600% annually. They make super margins. And also the big banks, they have the super high transaction cost, as everyone knows. And I'm going to say something. I'm not going to say a lot of bad things about traditional banks here because I believe there are a lot of people from the traditional banks. But yeah, I would understand their pain because of what? The regulatory, always strict. And that actually gives an opportunity for those fintech companies to grow up. So yeah, I can list a couple of, oops, sorry. So you can see here those very typical problem of those centralized financial institutions like high transaction costs, high interest rates, and especially distorted credit profile. It's very important. Yeah, we can see a lot of things like Equifax 2017, JP Morgan, and also Facebook today. Yeah, everybody was talking about that. So we are trying to find some solutions until I made the blockchain. And that very fundamental of the technology, I think, is the only way out to provide a comprehensive solution for that problem. So that's why we try to start to work on a decentralized ecosystem of financial services. So, and our purpose is try to transform the financial scenarios by empowering credit with the blockchain technology. So, yeah, these are the benefits we can achieve. I'm not going to talk a lot about this page here. So how we do it? You can see a lot of projects in the market, which are big projects. They do the cryptocurrency lending. I think some of them, they're doing good, but I think they are not actually trying to solve the actual problem of credit. It's not just about like transferring the real world lending onto the blockchain. This is not going to work. What you're really going to do is you try to solve that problem systematically by trying to change the whole way of credit transferring mechanism. And that is actually what we do. So you have problems like you guys all have applied for those cash loans, yeah, maybe car loans, something like that. And you know how much money those traditional financial institutions, all those online fintech companies, or those micro-lending companies spend monthly to collect your personnel financial history data. And how much money they spend to make a comprehensive personnel profile. It's a huge amount. But none of them succeed. Why? Because the mechanism just behind it is conflict of interest. So what we are trying to do is we're trying to build up a DCC, decentralized credit system, which gives you a DCC ID. And the ID is like when you try to borrow money in the network, you first send a request to your credit rating agency. The credit agency will give back your credit report. So with a hash summary. At the same time, the credit agency is joining the DCC network. The DCC network will do a simultaneously verification. So if your credit report is verified, then your credit information will be labeled as authenticated. So that process will actually upgrade it continuously. So in the end, you will have a DCC ID. The DCC ID will include all the financial informations across the languages and across the regions. In that case, we are trying to create a network. In that network, you will own your own financial avatar. So we return the ownership of the data to you. You know, the lending process is very long. So they have multiple institutions who's joining the ecosystem. You will have the the online traffic directing apps. You will have the lending institutions who provide the capital. You can see a lot of so-called AI-based big data algorithm vendors in the market. Yeah, some of them, they are great startups. And they provide services across the lending business. And we try to get all of these companies into our network to become our strategic partner. So this is how the things work. Yeah, it's a bit complex, and I'm not going to talk a lot about this. So if anyone is interested in the technical stuff, you can come to me later after the meeting, because time is quite limited. So a little bit about the development status about our network. So we actually issued our D-app last month in China. They have 20,000 downloads and 2,000 times lending and borrowing happening. And this month, we will open our platform. And we will also publicate our next DApp, the second DApp next month. So if you guys are familiar with fintech, you must know like we have a lot of very successful online borrowing, like those P2P platforms in China. All of them, they're very big with huge traffic volume. Because as I mentioned, we have very good infrastructure as a survey payment and a lot of people. So we can reach the customer very easily. So in this project, what we try to sell is we have a lot of users and the traffic volume would go increase very fast. So that's a bit different with some other projects. And also we have, as I said, we have a lot of important strategic partners because the lending business is very long. The business line is very long. You need online directing, companies. You need banks. Like you need the trustees, like those licensed financial institutions who have the qualification to do the lending, especially in big countries like here, like in China, like America, because of the regulatory. Yeah, you will have the credit, the restructuring institutions like the guys who's doing the ABS. Yeah. So to reconstructing the whole credit business, we need partners like this. So we have DATA, is very good projects. Now is listed on Huobi. They're doing the data verification. Elastus, DeepFin is a very excellent project who's doing ABS in China. Juzix is from Wanxiang. And Citric, is a smart contract, startup. And we try to embrace more and more excellent projects to join our ecosystem. So schools, we have a lot of academic research work with schools like PKU, Columbia, Wharton School of Business, and Oxford. So what we do with schools is a little bit different. So we try to investigate more about the impact of blockchain technology onto the credit area. So we work with economists and finance professors, and we try to produce working papers. So we're not only doing the coding stuff, so we want to see more on the applied layer, because we believe the knowledge have different layers. So we want to produce a product and update the product to make them more convenient and make people easy to use it. And a little bit in achievement about us, we raised 17.4 million in a week at the end of February. And here are the investors. We don't have a lot of investors, but we only have one single institutional investors, which is JRR Capital. JRR is the biggest investor of Binance, which I think a lot of people know. I think is one of the best exchanges in the world. And also we have experts in the fintech area, like Mr. Kok. Mr. Kok is the founder of Dianrong, which is also be listed in NASDAQ this year. Dianrong is the first P2P company in China. It's like the equivalent of Lending Club. And also the Hussein is a very famous young entrepreneur. He sold his company to Latex. So And also we have the advisors team, and our advisor team are more academic. So we talk to a lot of professors like Professor Chen from Yale, and now Hong Kong U, Henry from UCLA. And we also have experts from the credit area in China. So China CX Credit is actually the biggest credit rating companies from the country. So we have Mr. Yao, so that's another Yao Ming. Yeah, he's the founder of the China CX Credit. So we keep seeking advices or information from the bureau, from the central government, so we know the feedback. Yeah, that's very important. And we have also advisors from Wall Street. We have Matthew from KKR, which is the biggest, I believe, the best, PE firm in the world. That means the older money, they're already paying attention, to this new technology, which I think is very important. We have KOLs in China because the population is so big, and we need the KOL who's expertising in finance, so we can get more feedbacks from the users. We have Professor Gu from Columbia, computer science, top of the world. His research was acquired by Pentagon. If you guys Google that, there's a lot of information about him. So what we try to do is a distributed banking system. We hope by returning the ownership of individuals' data, especially the financial data, the credit data, we can build up an ecosystem in which the data flows freely at a quicker pace, with higher data integrity and also lower cost. Oops, sorry. So this is about, actually, we have some more slides, but I don't know why it's not showed here. We just got interviewed by NASDAQ, and we're actually the first blockchain project about finance got interviewed by NASDAQ. And now we're working on with a lot of big online traffic providers. So the very next goal is try to boost our what we call the trading volume. Yeah, and also actually I found that there were a lot of great startups about the application of blockchain technologies to finance here, like Bamboo. I talked to George. Yeah, it was a great startup, and we were very welcome for him to join our ecosystem. So yeah, I would glad to talk to people who's interested in the revolutionary of finance. So that's about the DCC. If you guys have any questions, please find me after the talk. Thank you. Thank you.